She says the high court shouldn't relitigate marriage equality and women's reproductive health rights. And I just want to go on the record here and say, John, I was speaking quickly and I did not mean to call her Hillary. It was an accident. It was not on purpose. I was not. So anyway, go ahead, John. What are some of your thoughts about the debate?
Well, once again, they start with the Supreme Court, moved to the Second Amendment. Abortion came up, of course, as a part of that, and they moved to immigration and some other things. But, first off, not one time did she say, I would really like to have judges that will uphold the Constitution. She's not said that in the 2 times she's been asked. And fortunately, Trump did come back in and said, listen, I want folks that will actually honor the Constitution first, everything else second. She makes it sound like, Angie, if you and I would like to do such and such and such and such, and the rest of the people are pretty much in favor of that, then let's get judges on the Supreme Court that will actually make that happen. That's pretty much what she's saying that she wants as far as Supreme Court judges go, which is rule by mob. That is not the constitutional republic that we have set in place.
Interesting. Donald Trump says the U.S. Supreme Court needs to support the Second Amendment. Here's Donald.
We need a Supreme Court that, in my opinion, is going to uphold the Second Amendment and all amendments, but the Second Amendment, which is under absolute siege.
All right. So he says that. And then Hillary talked about her aim to push the biggest jobs program since World War II. Here's more from Hillary.
When the middle class thrives, America thrives. And so my plan is based on growing the economy, giving middle class families many more opportunities.
And then she talks about her plan, including a boost in the minimum wage. Now, you've been a business owner for many years in your adult life. And my feeling about the minimum wage, because I've worked down there, in the minimum wage area when I started out my career, as many of us have, if you don't like the job and what they're offering as some small, like mom and pop restaurants, for instance, then work somewhere else or be good enough that you get good tips.
That's right. Well, as an employer, and I talked about this yesterday on my show, as an employer, what we do is we have a agreement to pay somebody a certain amount of money when they come to work for us. That's how the system works. So it's sort of a contract, if you would. And if you would like to see an increase in your contract, the way to do that is make yourself as an employee more valuable. So as an employer, I'm the employer. I employ, 60 plus people. If my people want to make more money, what they need to do is come to me and make themselves more valuable. The more valuable they are to me, the more money I'm going to pay them. In other words, as an employee, make yourself indispensable. If you do that, minimum wage comes out of the picture and it's no longer relevant.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, as it should be. I think, I've worked in union shops before where there's a certain level of, and I'm treading on very shaky ground here because my father-in-law was a union president for years, but I've also heard the stories of when he had to protect people that were complete slackers and losers. And I've heard him recount those stories. Yep. And I do agree that there are people that do need to be protected. But when it comes to the wage, when there's a guarantee of a certain amount of money that you really haven't earned, it's a weird situation. And I saw when I was in the union, when I worked in TV in Los Angeles, people really abused the system because they were protected and guaranteed a certain amount of money that certainly didn't earn or deserve it. So that minimum wage is a tough topic, I think.
It's a tough topic, but it's one that, we continue to talk about government interfering with the economy and doing things to it that essentially, Angie, falsify the economy or create a false economy. That's what the minimum wage does. When they establish minimum wages, they are messing with the free market. They are interjecting themselves into it. At any time government interjects in the free market, they screw it up.
Now, Trump went on to say that Clinton plans to raise taxes on Americans. Here's Trump.
Well, first of all, before I start on my plan, her plan is going to raise taxes and even double your taxes. Her tax plan is a disaster.
So what do you think of that, John?
Well, she frankly admitted that all she's going to do is continue to do what Obama has done. She praised Obama last night, talking about, how he inherited the worst economy ever. He's turned it around. It's great now. And Trump reminded her that we still have less than 1% growth right now in our GDP. We have almost $20 trillion in debt. I don't call that a success. And as a business owner, I don't call that a success. I don't know about you, Angie, but I'm working as hard today as I ever have to make the same money I was making 10 years ago.
We were just talking about that with one of our liberal guests just a few minutes ago in the commercial break. That's funny you brought that up. Maybe not funny for you and me that we're working so hard.
No,
all right. Where do we find you, John Rush and Rush to Reason?
RushToReason.com.
Thank you so much, John. Talk to you soon.
Take care.
All right. So in lighter news, Bill Murray makes a tough decision. Angelina Jolie's children interviewed by the FBI, and Google and CBS teaming up to provide video streaming. Ben Olson is here with the entertainment headlines. Morning, Ben.
Good morning, Angie. Here's what's happening in the world of entertainment. Bill Murray might have a tough decision coming up. Murray is one of the most famous diehard Chicago Cubs fans, and he's been seen at Wrigley Field throughout the playoffs. If Chicago and the LA Dodgers force a Game 7 in the National League Champions Series, Murray will have to decide between going to the game and participating in a Kennedy Center event in his honor. Bill Murray is set to receive one of the top awards a comedian can get, but it's been almost 110 years since the Cubs have won the World Series. There's a report that the FBI is interviewing Angelina Jolie and her children. It said they were interviewed this week by agents to determine what happened between Brad Pitt and their 15-year-old son, Maddox. Law enforcement officials said that the FBI agents spent a few hours at their home. New York Knicks guard Derrick Rose is being cleared of the allegations concerning his former girlfriend in Los Angeles. A jury yesterday found Rose and two of his friends not liable on all accounts. The woman had brought forward a $21 million civil lawsuit against the trio. Google is working on a new online TV streaming service. Google and CBS have made a deal that Google's rumored service, Unplugged, will broadcast CBS content. The report says the service will be between $25 and $40 with a goal of attracting customers who don't want to sign up for cable. President Obama likes to listen to Beyonce when he works out. The president shared his workout playlist in the November issue of Wired magazine. Phil Chess, one of the men whose Chicago record label helped the blues become rock and roll, has died in Arizona at the age of 95. With your entertainment news nuggets, I'm Ben Olson for Daybreak USA.
Thank you very much, Ben. All right, coming up next, we've got a report from a boy who's accusing a teacher of washing his mouth out with soap. I wonder what he said. And if someone on TV, a host, accidentally exposes a guest, a martial arts expert, as a fraud on live coverage. And then, is a stressful job good for your health? That's what they're telling us coming up on Daybreak. So live with her or with you?
He did. He now he's at college, but he lived with her.
So
and the day after Obama got reelected, all I put, because I don't get political on my page, all I put on my page was not disappointed. That's all I said. 2 words, not disappointed. He came in, wrote a comment about 3 paragraphs long about how I'm wrong. I'm what's wrong with the country, and I'm ruining everything for my son. And then he defriended me. And my ex-wife told me, you're not, I hate to tell you this, but he doesn't want you on the property. So I said, okay, whatever.
So everybody else has yard signs of Trump and Hillary, and then he's got one that says, no, Chris.
Did I restart?
All he cares about is no me.
Wait, what'd you say?
Should I restart?
All he cares about is no me.
Yeah. Wait,
Are you okay with this being out online?
No.
Oh,
Right.
Yeah,
I don't care. I talked about it on the radio in other places.
You're listening to Daybreak USA.
Okay, since Chris is okay with this, hi, friend, welcome to the show. We were just talking the other day, John DeMaster and Chris Barnes, with therapist Lisa Dunning, who's on the show, good friend of mine, and how her brother no longer speaks to her son. Her son's a teenager. Her brother is an adult. He unfriended him on Facebook because of his political views. He blocked her son on the phone. Then therapist Lisa said something to her sister-in-law. The sister-in-law called her dad, and then the dad called therapist Lisa and said, look, your sister-in-law called me about what you said to her about politics on Facebook. I'm like, dad's 80, okay? And therapist Lisa's son, the whole family's in an uproar. So then, Chris, you just told us, and I know this is not news, but it is to me, because families and friends, they get torn apart by politics. And you posted something on your page, political, and your son was living with your ex-wife and the new husband, and the new husband banned you from the house because of your political views?
Yes, that's it in a nutshell.
Wow.
This was, I put 2 words. I don't get political. I'm not a really partisan guy. I cover politics, but I don't get all caught up in all this stuff. So
Right.
to me,
I haven't
it's
seen you
just,
post much.
and I'm sort of a middle of the roader, and I know people would always go, oh, middle of the roaders, pick a side, you got to have convictions. But I'm a middle of the roader. And as a journalist, I think that's a good thing. But I posted something after an election back in 2008, 2 words. All I wrote was not disappointed. And I have been banned from their property ever since.
And you're friends with your ex-wife.
Very good friends with my ex-wife, yes.
And so you're banned from the property of her home due to the new husband.
In
Okay,
fact, it's their birthday this weekend, so I can say hello nationally to Christine. Happy birthday. That's your birthday present.
10
Happy
seconds
birthday.
to sing.
Happy birthday. Wish he could come over for dinner, but he can't because he's banned. So anyway, blow out the candles without him. Okay, so let's start. Should we start with the debate? Come on, we've done enough on the debate. No, we haven't.
This is good. This is Gary Johnson.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
because he needs his chance to speak out too, because he wanted to be president, and he went on some TV, but not on the debate stage last night, talking about how he wants to legalize marijuana, but not other drugs.
I've advocated legalizing marijuana only, but I think that the country is going to come to a quantum leap of understanding when it comes to drugs.
He was on Jimmy Kimmel Live, and I just think it's so funny that with all the things that they were talking about at the debate last night, you got the economy, you've got, what else did I write down here? The wall and just all these things. Gary Johnson's over there talking about legal. I'm sorry. I just think that's hilarious. And now we need to be
also had to confront his Aleppo moment too. And he said he had no excuse for not knowing about it. And he said, while 9 out of 10 Americans surveyed couldn't tell you what Aleppo is either, he admitted that if you're trying to run for president, you really sort of ought to know what Aleppo is about. So.
What is Aleppo? You're kidding. No.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, Trevino, good for you.
Good job,
That was
Trevino.
me. I got buttons with all the funny stuff in here. You know why?
All right.
I love this guy over here.
Okay, I'm done.
Okay. Now, so maybe we should pass the cheese because make sure it's yellow cheese, because a new study is showing that yellow foods make people happier. So that would include things, of course, like macaroni and cheese, which normally is made with, a very yellow-orange version of cheddar, and it's made 70% of people feel more cheerful, according to this research. Bananas and omelets also make the list. The study was sponsored, though, you should point out, or what I should point out, since I'm doing the story, it was sponsored by the UK-based Happy Egg Company.
That's very exciting. Well,
Smells a little bit of
yellow.
I smell a little bit of a skew in that survey. But anyway.
All right, so Donald Thomas, he's 10, okay? And Donald Thomas says a teacher washed his mouth out with soap after he got into an argument with another student. And, this is like old school back in the days when the nuns would hit you over the hand with a ruler and nobody thought anything of it. This occurred at Camp Curtin Academy in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Donald's mom, Ciara White, called police and had them take a report at the school. The police ultimately referred the matter back to the school and said even if Donald's claims were true, they would not press charges. Officials are working for the Harrisburg school district. They would not comment on the allegations. But what I want to know is what did he say? So there's an argument between 2 students. And then apparently he says, she told me to go by the sink. She got a bar of soap and she started rubbing it on my tongue. Now, I have to be honest with you. If my kid did say something bad, if he did, or she for that matter, I would actually be okay with that. Seriously, I would. If my kid said something really bad. Oh, look at you. Oh, Chris, what, your little Xander, you wouldn't want that to happen. You're shaking your head.
Oh, no, actually not. I was just recalling the classic scene in A Christmas Story where he tells his parents that he went blind from soap poisoning.
All right, we have a couple more we have to get through. John, the stressful job is good for your health, really? And my husband's dropped he's 180 at 6'6". He's so skinny. I don't think the stress is good for him.
You call him a pencil with hair. Well, experts say that these pencils with hairs and other people in stressful jobs are a third less likely to die than those with easier jobs, but only if the worker is in control of their own workflow. So your husband's his own boss. Maybe that'll make a difference and he'll live longer because of that. They tracked thousands of workers in their 60s from 2004 and found that 7 years later, those that had freedom and control in their high-stress jobs were 34% less likely to have died than those in less stressful careers. But It also found that those who have high-stress jobs with little freedom to make their own decisions were the most likely to be unhealthy and die earlier. So I guess it depends whether or not you're in control of your stress.
Okay, so this we don't have much time, but this TV host went out to like assure people that, hey, these blocks are all solid for this martial arts guru, and as he touched the blocks, they fell apart. It was a fake, like he'd already split them, and he's like put his hand in his head like, oh no, they found me out. So yeah, always check the blocks. So stupid.